Welcome to the Birth of Industry in Connecticut Internet Search Workshop. In this lesson, you will learn two things. First, you will be introduced to the early industry in Connecticut in the 1800s, and also you will learn how to more efficiently and effectively use the internet and search engines as a research tool. Please remember that you can stop and or rewind this video at any time, and also remember to please take notes. First, let's think about this word industrialize. In the 19th century, humans began to discover all sorts of new ways to industrialize nature to its needs. This is a quote taken out of the book Confluence, written by Nathaniel Tripp. If you think about what the word industrialize means, it means to create a system of labor or work for some useful purpose or creation of something of value. So really what this is telling us is that in the 19th century, people began to discover and invent all sorts of new ways and new methods to use nature and to somehow figure out how to manipulate nature to create something of value. The first example of this is in the mills, which were factories basically in Connecticut, which began with women spinning thread and yarn, creating homemade fabric or textiles. Just think about every shirt, every towel, every sheets, every set of sheets that you have. All of that stuff starts off as being thread or yarn. And all of that material is woven together to create fabric, or in this case textiles, which can be made out of silk or cotton or polyester. And there's all other wool. There's many different types of textiles that could be made. And basically, this is the early stages of industry in Connecticut. You see here, this is a picture of the Hartford Company's cotton factories, which were in Glastonbury. A lot of times, mills were directly on the water so that they could harness the stream or the river that was rushing by, that would turn a turbine, which would basically run machines on the inside of the factories. Now, for our first tip, I want you to realize that every word matters. If you're trying to learn more about mills in Connecticut in the 1800s, I do not want you to just type in the exact question. A lot of times that will bring up a lot of sites that are just not reputable because it's not a narrow enough search. You got to remember to keep it simple. So if we were looking for what types of mills in Connecticut in the 1800s, and we just typed that exact word in, or excuse me, that exact phrase in, basically the internet would search what and types and of and mills and existed and in and CT and in and the and 1800s. Okay, so you would get a lot of different responses. Now, if you cut down your search terms to just the bare essential words, you're going to get much better search results. Let's go ahead and try this right now. So as you can see here, I've already tried this before. I have here Connecticut Mill 1800 and a bunch of sites come up. We do get a museum site. We get a Wikipedia page. We also get something from Connecticut History, History of Glastonbury. There's all different types of sites here that look like they are .org sites. So you're seeing a lot of really looks like probably well-researched sites. So if I come over here to the page here, a lot of times you can get a preview. Let's see if we can get a preview. Oh, perfect. We have a preview here, a bird's eye view of Broadbrook, Connecticut. I can assume that Broadbrook was some sort of textile or mill town. And let's see here, it has some ideas as to depicts a classic New England mill town. So we could go check that out. So let's see what a classic New England mill town would look like, so long as my internet's running fast. Here we go. So here's a bird's eye view of Broadbrook, Connecticut. So this is just an example. Oh, and this is a really great site because it has two primary sources, or it looks like a modified primary source and an original, and also it has a secondary information here as well. Interesting. All right, great. So let's go ahead and try another search. Let's go ahead this time, and we're going to search Connecticut History Textile Mill. Oh, I didn't want mill. I'm actually going to change mill. I want to change that to industry. I'm going to change that to industry, and we're going to see what comes up here. And as you can see here, Connecticut History Online comes up, textile industry in Connecticut. Let's see what this looks like. Let's just look at the preview just really quickly. This looks like a general site that talks about all different types of textile industry. If you look very closely, it just gets into the history. This here is early history of textiles in Connecticut. Look at this, Connecticut History Online, Connecticut History Online, Connecticut History Online, Mill Museum. These are really, really, really reputable sites. If you get down here, you do have a Wikipedia page. Again, not saying that Wikipedia is a bad site, but as you can see here, if you look in this area, it does have some areas that need to be cleaned up, so I wouldn't use this as a really reputable site. It might be good to get some basic information. All right, very good. Let's just look at this early history of textiles. So as you can see here, we're on a page with early history of textiles in Connecticut. We see, oh, right here, immediately it says the oldest silk mill in the U.S., which was in Mansfield, Hanks Hill, Mansfield. That's interesting. Wait a second. Let's read a little bit further here. History of silk industry in Connecticut, developed, made famous by the Cheney brothers in Manchester, had its beginnings in Mansfield. Right, exactly. So you could go on, look, and you can go and check out the full record. As you can see here, we have the view of the Hartford Co. Cotton Factory, which is the same one I have over here in my PowerPoint. And this just has some information. This goes all the way up to 1851. Actually, this goes all the way up to 1878. We're really concerned with the time period from 1800 to about 1840s or so. All right, very good. So let's just go ahead and make sure that you're taking notes on the graphic organizer that was provided. You can go ahead and stop the video now if you need. Otherwise, let's go ahead and continue. So let's go back over here to go back into our thing here. All right, so introduction to the factory system. Just really quickly, so we're looking at mills, which was a very, very small, usually community-based type of factory system. Actually, I don't even know if you could call it a factory. It was more of just like very, very small scale, usually a 1 or 2 person operation. Now, Samuel Slater, he introduces a much more efficient and effective way for doing mills in New England, especially. Samuel Slater brought the factory system from Great Britain. See, Great Britain had been going through the Industrial Revolution for quite some time. And finally, Samuel Slater, who basically steals this idea of the factory system from this place that he was working at in Great Britain, and he brings it to America. Actually, he brings it directly to Rhode Island. And this is where the first factory system is set up. It's actually at the Lowell Mills, was Samuel Slater set those up. He actually set up several, but that's the most famous one, are the Lowell Mills. So here brings us to our second search tip, which is to anticipate your search terms. You know, you want to think about what your topic is and how these words or how different words might be used on websites so that you can get the most direct information that you can. Oh, just so you know, there will be a target site at the bottom of each slide, just so that you could use as a reference in case you're having trouble finding information or if your search terms aren't working correctly. Okay, so what we're going to do here is, if we want to learn more about Samuel Slater and the American factory system, I'm going to want to use those exact words. I'm going to anticipate that Samuel Slater is going to be on a website, and also that we're not looking for just the factory system. We're looking, because there could be websites that have the factory system from Great Britain, we're looking at the American factory system. So let's go ahead and try that search right now. So let's go ahead and go back here. And I'm going to pull up my search here, and I'm going to try the searching here, where I'm going to search for Samuel Slater American Factory System. Okay, Samuel Slater American Factory System. I got to hit enter to search. And as you can see, I already went to one of these sites here, but we have several of them that come up. We have pbs.org, always a really great site. Again, we have some Wikipedia here. Again, I wouldn't use that as a definitive end-all be-all, but I would use it to get some background information, maybe some quick search terms, so I could use those search terms in anticipation of another search. You know, a lot of times you can use Wikipedia to get your search terms. Really, really great for that. We see here American Heritage has some stuff here, so let's go ahead and look at the previews again. Father of our factory system, young Samuel Slater smuggled a cotton mill out of England in his head and helped start America's Industrial Revolution. So there you go right there. American Heritage has some really great information. Let's go one up here. Samuel Slater has been called the father of the American factory system. He was born in Derbyshire, England on June 9, 1768, the son of a yeoman farmer. Oh, I want to learn more about that. So I'm going to go ahead and go to this website. And this has a bunch of information here. It has some secondary information, and it also has a primary source because we have this, it looks like probably a woodcut engraving of a portrait of Sam Slater. It has a little bit of interesting facts here, and it also has a photo of a mill. Interesting. So here we go. Here it has a Rhode Island mill, and also it talks about America's Industrial Revolution. So Slater really was the founder of America's Industrial Revolution, which really, really benefited Connecticut communities. Okay, back over here. So you want to take some time now to go ahead and complete these searches and to fill out the required worksheet. All right, Eli Whitney's cotton gin. Basically, Eli Whitney created the cotton gin, which made it easier to separate seeds from cotton. We're going to learn more about this, but right now we're just focused on the industrial part where this person basically took something, he created something, and basically made a way to better industrialize nature. As you may know, cotton was grown throughout the South, and Eli Whitney, who was from the North, actually was educated at Yale University, actually it might have been Yale College at the time, and basically he creates this cotton gin, which makes it easier to separate the seeds from the cotton. So let's go ahead and check out these search terms. And this search tip really is to be descriptive. You want to make sure that you're describing the exact type of information that you're looking for. So if we go here, let's just go back to where we were. Oh, I can just go like this. Excellent. And this time I'm going to search for Eli Whitney cotton gin. Oh, that didn't work the way I wanted it to. Eli Whitney cotton gin effects. No, it says FX. I want to change that. Actually, this is not working at all. Eli Whitney cotton gin effects, right? So if I put this in, basically I'm looking for what effects did the cotton gin have on American society. So there's a bunch of sites here. Let's see here. We have archives.gov. That's a government site. United States government puts that out. That's really good. See how we're kind of close to what a question would be. What were the cause and effects of Eli Whitney's cotton gin? That's going to bring the wiki answers. Not typically a good site. I would not use that at all. We do have a Wikipedia site. I'm just interested to see how good this site really is. This actually might be a pretty good site because you see here it doesn't have any of the notices at the top. It looks like it has some primary sources and things like that. And then also I just want to go to this cotton gin, this page right here, because again, the National Archives is a wonderful site that you could use. And it looks like it has a picture of the cotton gin. It has some background. It basically talks about how he patented it. It talks about the patent laws at the time. And here we go down here. This is the information that we're looking for. The effects of the cotton gin. Basically, it doubled each decade. After the cotton gin, the cotton doubled each decade, and basically it really solidified slavery as a necessity in the South. But we're going to get into that more in the future. Another search that you could do would be Eli Whitney Cotton Gin Museum. You lie. Not close at all. I'm looking for Eli Whitney Cotton Gin Museum. We're going to go ahead and put that in. And as you can see, I already went to the site. Basically, we're looking at eliwhitney.org, which is probably his museum. Actually, the museum. Yep, it definitely is. We have another Wikipedia page. I'm curious. Looks like this could be a pretty reputable page. Let's go ahead and go directly into this page here. The cotton gin, this has a discussion of the whole idea of the cotton gin and Constitution and patent law. Kind of same information here. Eli Whitney patents his cotton gin. Oh, and we have like a little diagram here that works. Let's go ahead and replay that real quick. As you see here, the cotton goes down, and but with these brushes, and the seeds are separated, and basically the lint is collected here, and this is what's used and spun into thread, which eventually makes textiles. Oh, let's look at this real quick. Here's an animated version of the patent, which was done in 1794. I want to replay that one more time. This is kind of cool. This is a really interesting. This is a really interesting source, actually. Anyway, okay, great. So that's that. Let's come back over here. So you can see here we have a couple different sites that ended up coming up. Okay, very good. Remember to go ahead and take the notes inside your worksheet. Moving on. One last industry of many industries that were started in Connecticut during the early part of the 1800s was the firearms industry. Samuel Colt invented the revolving breech pistol known as the gun that won the West. Now, this source that we have here is actually the patent drawings for Samuel Colt's invention. Basically, the way this would work is that bullets would be put inside of the cylinders here, these larger holes, and they would be loaded up for rapid repeat fire. So you could fire off 5 bullets without having to reload your gun. This is totally revolutionary for the time period, because remember, a lot of times what people had to do was you had to load the muzzle of the gun by putting the gunpowder and the bullet down the barrel, packing it in, putting a flint in, and then firing it. This makes it much faster because you can shoot off successive shots. This leads us to our second search tip, which is using search phrases. Okay, using quotations to search particular phrases. Like, for instance, I want to learn more about this idea of how the gun won the West. So I'm basically going to put in quotations, won the West, and I'm going to search that. Okay, so let's try that now. If I put in won the West, and I put that in, let's see what comes up. All right, this does not look like what I'm looking for. It doesn't have enough information. This obviously isn't what I'm looking for. How the West was won. These look like movies. They're definitely movies. IMDb. I'm not seeing wheels that won the West. I'm not seeing anything what I'm looking for. How Arnold Schwarzenegger won the West? I didn't even know he won the West. Okay, so this is not what I'm looking for. So what if I try to narrow this down, right? I'm going back to my earlier ones. I'm trying to anticipate, and I'm trying to narrow down, and I'm trying to be descriptive. What if I put in here Samuel Colt? Won the West, Samuel Colt. Let's see what ends up coming up. Boom. Obviously, I've been to this page before. Who won the West? This is that PBS. It looks like the same PBS site that we had before. Colt Peacemaker, the gun that won the West. Southwest.com. Let's see what a couple of these look like. I'm not sure what type of site this is. Here's the Autry.org. I'm not even sure what this is. Let's look at this real quick. Not something I really am interested in. Colt.com. Let's see here. Colt. Oh, gun that won the West. 2 bragging claim rights. Okay, this is an article from the Hartford Courant. Here's another thing on the Peacemaker here. Okay, Heart of the West. I'm not sure what all these are. Some of these are blogs. Anyway, the one that really matters here is this PBS.org one. We can look it up, and you can see that it's going to have all types of information. Let's go ahead and go into it. A mass market talks about how he's trying to fit a mass market. Interest in guns, multiple shots. Basically, he had a boost in gun sales during the Texas and Mexican-American War, Texas Revolution and Mexican-American War. And here's a little interesting fact here about did you know? Oops, did you know? Okay, very good. So these are all different sources or all different ways that you can search the internet. I just want to remind you to go ahead and make sure that you are filling out your worksheet as necessary. This brings us to our last section of what we're going to be doing today. Basically, I want you to go ahead and research your own primary sources. using the internet to find your own primary sources connected to one or actually two or to three of these Connecticut firsts. In the 19th century, Connecticut citizens were issued more patents than any other state. These innovations made Connecticut very rich. Choose 2 to 3 of Connecticut's firsts and research primary sources connected to each. And use the graphic organizer to create a summary. What you'll basically be doing is taking images of primary sources, putting into the graphic organizer, and then answering the questions to create an annotation or a summary of a primary source. Thank you for very much for participating in this internet search workshop with an emphasis on how Connecticut became an industrialized state in the early 1800s.